Hi everyone. If you only know Heart of Gold and you want to explore Neil Young's back catalogue further, this is the path I'd take. Let's get to it. Normally I wouldn't recommend going straight to a greatest hits compilation. Like a lot of artists, if you restrict yourself to Neil's greatest hits, you're missing out on some of his best work. However, Neil Young's back catalogue is so vast and so diverse. I mean, the guy has over 50 studio albums. Starting with his greatest hits may not be a bad idea. The greatest hits will help you decide if Neil Young's catalogue is something you want to explore further. For the best overview of Neil Young's work, listen to the Greatest Hits compilation Decade. As the name implies, it covers Neil's first 10 years of music, which most people would say is his strongest period. Decade includes songs that he released with Buffalo Springfield and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and it contains all his better-known songs, for example, Old Man and Like a Hurricane. However, with over 35 songs, Decade has some deeper cuts as well. Decade is actually one of the best greatest hits compilations of all time, and a great introduction to Neil Young's music. If you listen to this compilation and start to think what's all the fuss about, then Neil Young's probably not for you. There is a lot to digest with this compilation, so I'd give it a good solid week of listening before deciding if you want to explore further. If you enjoyed what you heard on Decade, then it's time to dig a little bit deeper. First, have a listen to 1970s After the Gold Rush album. For me, it's Neil Young's best album, and it's a must listen for anyone starting their Neil Young journey. The album has folk, country and rock influences, and it has some of Neil Young's most beautiful and touching songs. In many ways, it's a simple and sweet album, and it has this enchanting quality that sets it apart from many albums of the era. Highlights include the folk opener Tell Me Why, the epic rock song Southern Man, which inspired Leonard Skinner to write Sweet Home Alabama, and the stunning ballads I Believe in You and Birds. This one's a must for any Neil Young fan, and it's one of the best albums of the 1970s. Next, have a listen to Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere, Young's first album with his longtime backing band Crazy Horse. The two outstanding epic songs from this album, Cowgirl in the Sand and Down by the River, were on Decade, but it's good to hear them in their original setting. Add in Cinnamon Girl and the title track, and you have one of Young's best albums. Most people would agree that Young's classic period is the 1970s, so it's probably best to focus on this period as you continue your journey. Have a listen to On the Beach from 1974, Russ Never Sleeps from 1979, and Harvest from 1972. On the Beach is a ragged and melancholy album with fragments of hope visible in the gloom. I mean, 3 of the songs have blues in the title if that's any indication. Walk On is a great opener and the most commercial song here, and See the Sky About to Rain is an electric piano-led ballad. Ambulance Blues, the closing track, is a 9-minute acoustic song of the highest quality. For many die-hard Neil Young fans, this is his best album, but it takes more time to fully reveal its charms. Russ Never Sleeps was mostly recorded live with Crazy Horse, with studio overdubs added later. The album has some of Young's best songs, including 2 versions of My Hey Hey. There's the acoustic version Out of the Blue and the electric version Into the Black. The album also has the exceptional rock song Powderfinger, an acoustic standout thrasher. This is one of Young's best albums, and many of the songs form the foundation of his reputation today. Most casual fans will know the album Harvest from 1972. It was Young's commercial peak and has 2 of his most famous songs, Old Man and Heart of Gold. A country rock album at heart, the great songs are not limited to the hits. Out on the Weekend is an exceptional opener. It's a country rock song with atmosphere galore, and it has one of Young's best vocal performances. The pedal steel guitar and the bouncing bass line are highlights of this superb song. I also really enjoy The Man Needs a Maid, a beautiful ballad where Young's accompanied by the London Symphony Orchestra, the haunting anti-drug song The Needle and the Damage Done, and the title track. This album was a hit for a reason and should be fully explored, not just the hits. Those are the first 5 albums I recommend you start with, but if you do enjoy those, here are some further albums to check out. First is the dark and brooding album, Tonight's the Night from 1975. This album's not remotely commercial. The album sees Young dealing with his grief following the death of some close friends from drug overdoses. It's not an easy listening experience, but it does reward patience. Zuma from 1976 is a great rock album with Crazy Horse, and it includes Cortez the Killer, one of Young's best guitar workout anthems. For a dose of country, Neil, try Comes a Time from 1978. So far all the albums have been from the 1970s, which is understandable. As I said earlier, the 1970s is definitely Young's best period, but if you do want to explore further, I'd recommend these albums. First, have a listen to Freedom from 1989, a bit of a comeback album for Young at the time. Like Rust Never Sleeps, it has electric and acoustic versions of its best known song, Rocking in the Free World. Rocking in the Free World is simply an awesome rock song that every beginner Neil Young fan needs to hear. Harvest Moon from 1992 is worth a listen. It was seen as a follow-up to the original Harvest and has some great songs, including the title track. After that, your individual preferences will dictate where you go next. For the rock version of Young, try Ragged Glory from 1990, a distortion-filled rock album of consistent quality. For folk and country Young, I've always been a fan of Silver and Gold from 2000. There are numerous other Neil Young albums to explore, from his commercially challenging period in the 1980s to his critical resurgence in the 1990s to the 20-plus studio albums he's released in the 21st century alone. Add in the archival releases and the live albums, and there's plenty more nuggets of gold to be discovered. Let me know what your favourite Neil Young album is in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.